going on?
Nothing much. How are you today?
I can't complain. Sorry, I'm late. I just got in. I just got inside the house.
Oh, no worries at all. It's been snowing all day today. I do not blame you.
Yeah, I really thought I was gonna make it in before live started. So that's really my fault.
No, no, it's okay.
Alright,
Okay, we can start whenever you're ready. I want to let you like settle down and like get into your home instead of having to rush. Don't worry, we can take our time.
nah, it's all good. We can start right now.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, I'm Madeline. Nice to meet you. I'm an intern at Ambitious Entertainment Nonprofit, but I'm
Word.
also a BFA directing student at Columbia College of Chicago. So it's very
Sure.
nice to meet you.
Likewise,
Um,
yo.
Thank you. Would you like to introduce yourself to our guest that we have today?
For sure. For sure. How y'all doing? Oh, DZ in here. Appreciate it, yo. Um, my name's Youngin. Yeah, so I'm a rapper, songwriter, or creative writing from the South Side of Chicago. Um, right now I'm like focusing on just like writing raps, but I kind of venture off into like writing stories, poetry, novels, things of that sort. So it's pretty dope.
Perfect. Awesome. So, how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
How would I describe myself in 3 words? Damn, I gotta think about that one. Hold on.
No worries.
I describe myself in 3 words. And those 3 words are just being like adjectives, I assume.
Like it can be like unique, amazing, creative, singular, like stuff like that.
Okay, word. All right, bet. Um, all right. First word, probably creative, because I definitely want to be creative when it comes to just like my songwriting skills, or not even songwriting skills, but just my rapping skills specifically, because I feel like, especially with rapping, we feel like we hear the same things every day.
Hmm.
So I definitely want to make sure I stay in creative and just like I could say like intuitive as well. Um, Second, vetted, meaning like just experienced because I've been writing for however long since like writing creatively since like my freshman year of high school.
Wow.
Um, I just hit the ground running when it comes to that ever since. Um, and that third one probably, man, truthful.
Mm.
Yeah, I could say that because I want to like give just me and me only and what I'm creating. So whether that's in music, whether that's in just writing creatively or putting together events or whatever the case, I just want to know like that encapsulates just who I am, and especially not just like if I were to do something like further than this, it wouldn't be at the hands of hey, I did this because I had to compromise like
Mm.
who I am as a person. I just want to get off like as just who I am. You know?
Yeah. I like
So
that. All three of those are very important things to be, so those are good answers.
for
My next
sure.
question for you is why Chicago? What about Chicago do you love, identify with? Is it the community, the lifestyle, the culture, the food?
Yeah. So just watch Chicago just because of the fact that it's my home, and also because like when it comes to us creatively, I feel like there isn't nobody else that's better. Um.
Mhm.
So when it so I for example like I went to school in the Bay Area for high school, and that was an interesting experience because that's when I first figured out like how to like write creatively. So that's where like that's like where I started to study just like the basics of things, but my style was adopted from in Chicago because everything that I studied when it came to just music was Chicago. Like studied the Kanye Wests, the G Herbos, the Juice Worlds to a degree. Studied the Commons, the anybody else from the city that was really just like making noise, and even like beyond that, like everybody that's going around in the underground going crazy. Like I've been heavily invested in just like what they were doing, so I'm taking like tiny pieces of what they're able to do and trying to put that into my own stuff as well. Like you got you got women like Dialect Trey who's killing it on the microphone, especially when it comes to just like her storytelling and just like what she can do live. Like I want to, I want to be in that situation just like her. You got people that came from other spots and into Chicago like Devin. What he's able to do when it comes to just telling stories, that's insane to me, you know. Um, and just all in all, just like the vibe that Chicago brings it's like no other place that you can go to. Like sure, the Bay is great, Los Angeles is great, Texas is great, Atlanta is great, New York is great. Woo out the band. Like just like you won't ever get like that feeling of just like raw expression being just from being from these places like you would Chicago. So heavy on that.
I agree with you completely. Like, that's what attracted me to going to school in Chicago. I'm from New Jersey, and I saw
Word.
Chicago, and I didn't even have to visit. I was like, I looked at it like historically, and I looked at it through photos. I was like, this is one of the most beautiful places in the world. I
Absolutely.
also want to congratulate you on Restitution. I
Thank
know
you.
you have like two singles from it that were released, but you have a whole mixtape coming out for it, correct?
Yeah. So look,
Ooh.
so what's going on with Restitution is that that's like the last single that I'm dropping. It's a single coming from my mixtape Preliminaries
Mhm.
that's gonna be coming out soon. So that's the last single that I'm dropping that for that particular mixtape. And this is my first mixtape. I feel like with this mixtape, I'm diving into a lot of like I'm diving into a lot of pools when it comes to just what I can do creatively as a musician, whether that's going on acoustic drums or rugged hip hop drums or trap drums or anything of that sort. Like you got things like that. There's other portions where I'm like trying to understand like how to tell a story, or if I just want to like be around for like the lyrical sense and just bar out, or if I just want to like have fun over like trap beats and then get my friends involved. That would be cool too. There'd be points where I'm just doing things on my own, or there'll be other times where I'm like collaborating with a few other voices as well. So I'm definitely trying to dive into a few pockets when it comes to this, and hopefully it can lead to like something bigger beyond that with the upcoming album as well. So yeah, I'm working on like two projects right now. I feel like they will lead into like each other pretty gracefully too. So hopefully it'll work out in my favor for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. When do you know? Can you tell us when the mixtape will drop?
Uh, I'm still working on that.
Hmm.
I'm gonna like, I'm definitely still working on it. I feel like I'm in the final stretch of things though, so I'm definitely like still trying to understand that. So we gonna figure it out for sure.
Awesome. I look forward to that. I also
Appreciate it.
wanted to ask you, like, what got you into making music in the first place? You just said you started writing when you were a freshman in high school. What kind of
Hmm.
catapulted you into that world?
So like, I guess just going to school in the Bay, it kind of, even though it was a decent experience, like when I first started, it kind of it wasn't that great of an experience to have because I was kind of like I wasn't like necessarily wilding out, but it was more of like just lashing out at other people, and still like I haven't really I haven't really like found my voice out there.
Mm.
And not only that, I didn't necessarily hit the ground running when it comes to just like making like decent relationships with just like my peers.
Mm.
So I found I found it like difficult for me to just like express myself, especially leaning upon the fact that just like I'm here and I'm here and it's just me. Like my mom ain't around, my sisters ain't around, my daddy ain't around, my niece ain't around, none of my friends from back home aren't around. Like it's a fully fledged fresh start. So I didn't understand like what I could do to like really express myself without just like the thing in the back of my head telling me to telling me that I'm being judged by the people around me. So I had this teacher. She was my English teacher, but she was also like the creative writing teacher as well. Her name's
Mm.
Stacy. So she told me to just like journal out my thoughts because paper ain't judgmental. Cause
Mhm.
like it's an inanimate object, so how the fuck is gonna be judging nobody? Um, so she ain't said it in those exact words, I promise. But like, yes, I don't know if I should be cussing on here,
Oh,
so my bad for
no,
that.
that's fine. You can. You can.
Okay, for sure. So I started like journaling my thoughts, and so whether that's just through like what was going on through the day, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, whether I wanted to tell a story or whether I want to come up with a story and then just like expound on that through like pen and paper or just on like Google Docs, because I definitely wrote on Google Docs too. Um, or if and then it just like turned into like poetry as well. Just like I wanted to like do that in the sense of creatively, because I feel like there was something that I could like achieve through that. I guess there was like a small win or like a moral win, like a moral victory, like through that regard. So definitely was something that I tried to figure out during my high school years. Sure.
Mm. Yeah, it was always this like creative outlet for you.
Yeah, it always has been. It still is now. I won't lie. Like when when things go right, I write. When things go wrong, I write. When things aren't looking the greatest for me, I still like have to write them down to see where I can improve. Whether that's when things are going decent, I'll write things down and make sure I can understand what I need to do next so I can keep the momentum going. So just being able to just like translate my thoughts to pen and paper, it helps me like figure out what I need to do and just like how I could see the whole board just for about what's lying in front of me.
Mm. Can you tell us a little bit more about your creative process? I know we talked about your writing process, but how do you, pick out what tracks you're singing to? How do you go to the studio? What's your process for that?
Uh, let's see. It all really depends, cause whether it's like me like writing lyrics, I gotta take in like what's going on around me.
Mm.
Um, so like what goes on around me is like, for example, like if I let's see, what song that I was writing to like pretty recently. Um, okay, boom. So like the first song that I ever like released was like this song called Abstract Michelle, and it started off like surrounded by gray walls, hearing gravity fall in the next room, with problems just won't be resolved. As I figure out my next tool and stand at this painting, me and Abstract Michelle getting better acquainted. So like that was like what was going on around me in a sense, because I live with my sisters,
Mm-hmm.
and when I said I was surrounded by gray walls, I was legitimately like surrounded by the gray walls for when I'm going downstairs to the basement and hearing gravity fall in the next room. Like my niece, she's like in the next room, she watching Gravity Falls on the TV,
Yeah.
so that was cool. And then figuring out my next tool and stand at this painting, me and Abstract Michelle getting better acquainted. So like at the bottom of the staircase, there's this like big. painting whatever, and it's an abstract version of like Michelle Obama just sitting there. So it's just like taking everything in that's like going on around me, so that way I can like get, I guess, like a launching pad set for me at that point. So I definitely like write. So in the case that I need to make sure that what's going on around me, I can like take off from that, and then I could just like venture off wherever else I can go, wherever else I can get to. So it'll start what's going on around me, and then it'll just end wherever it is that I where I wanted to go.
Mhm.
So, and even then, like beyond that, like I'll start if I want to write something that about what happened recently, or what happened like in my life, and then I'll just start to exaggerate it a little bit just for when it comes to like wanting to write stories in general. Like I'll take things that's happened in like my life or just like any of my friends' life and try and extrapolate upon these things, or take people that I've met and had interactions with and like turn those in, or not even that, but take people that I had interactions with and take like their personalities or pieces of their personalities and character traits of them, and then put that into a character. So I'll take combinations of other people and then I put them into into a specific character. Like I'm working on this other story. It's called All Runs in the Family. Like I'll have there's a there's a kid in there. His name is Trey. He's like the main character. So like I'll take character traits of, all right. So there's one of my other friends. He's a little bit on edge when it comes to just like what goes on. So there's that paranoia aspect of things. I'll put that into him, just like about him having to be able to see the whole board and having to see what's going on around him, so that way he doesn't feel as if he's being followed or anything of the sort, because the story is a kind of a thriller type of situation.
Mhm.
Um, his grandmother. I based that off of my grandmother. Just love how it's like, how with grandmas they like kind of talk a little bit too much with trying to feed their people with what's going on with them. So I definitely like took that from what what my grandmother used to do. Um, his best friend, I kind of based that off of my best friend in full, with just like what he, with just like what he's capable of. Like he's a pretty decent fighter. Um, Even though sometimes he'll try and instigate those fights to just to like have fun, just to create a moment.
Mhm.
But he's still like loyal to like whatever degree he needs to be, because he'll do whatever it takes for his friends. You have his girlfriend that's based off of that's based off of my girlfriend, with just like what she's capable of and what she does, and just etc.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just want to take like everything that goes on around me, or just like people that I rock with, and just human interactions that I had. It could be from people that I'm very close with, or people that I just like met that day, and I could just extrapolate upon those characters, and then just bring a whole other character to life through those people.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I think like real life is the best kind of content that we can pull from
Right,
when
right.
creating stuff. I know you talked about like also writing poetry. Would you ever think of writing a screenplay?
Kind of, sort of. I when I first started, like, cause I go to Columbia as well.
Oh, awesome!
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. So I go to Columbia as well. When I started as a film and TV major, because
Oh,
I wanted to
awesome.
like because I wanted to be a screenwriter first. So I
Mhm.
definitely I wanted to have the route in which like, hey, I can like write a book and then turn that into a movie type of situation, just like how I seen a couple people were able to do. But it ultimately didn't work out for me, because I ended up just going straight to like the creative writing portion in full, so that way I could like be fully invested in that. But yeah, I definitely consider like writing doing the screenwriting and type of situation, but hopefully I can be able to like make my way back into that too, because that would be like really dope. Or just content writing in general,
Mhm.
just writing stories and scripts for whoever needs them.
Yeah. What year are you in Columbia?
Right now I'm a fourth year, so
Oh,
yeah, I'm a senior.
you're a senior? Oh my god, me too. Crazy. We
Word
must
for
have like
sure.
met before or seen each other in the hallway. You look very familiar
Yeah,
to
we
me, but it's
we
nice to
just might.
meet you.
uh, Good to
Um,
be you, like fully. Oh God.
exactly. I wanted to talk about your music videos. The
Oof.
cadre that you have with yours, Avery. I wanted to ask, like, why did you guys pick the kind of VCR look and the fisheye lens? I really loved that. I wanted to know about, the creative decision behind that.
Yeah, yeah. So with me and Avery, we had, well, not even just me and Avery, but my other homie Aiden, because he directed the film, directed the music video. So it really just started as us just wanting to just like have fun,
Mhm.
and I guess we just came from like we wanted to like get BTS for like the mixtape and things of that sort, and then it was just like, hey, we got the speaker, we got what we did just right here. We got and that all just happened in just this one take for real. It was pretty fun. Um, yeah, because it really just started as just like BTS for the mixtape. It was really
Mhm.
dope. But then it just turned into what it turned into because we just want to like get behind the scenes for that. But it's just like, all right, you're here, we're all here. We just made like the piece of the song because the song isn't even like this isn't even a full-fledged song. Like the full-fledged song got a couple more voices in there. It's pretty
Mhm.
dope. So it's just like, all right, why not? So he ended up just taking his camera and just like he went like full-fledged, like, all right, we're making an impromptu music video. We didn't know like what was like really finna come from it fully when we first did it, but when Aiden like told me like what thoughts he had for what could this mixtape be, so like he he got like an inspiration from because a lot of our favorite artists are pretty similar because we love Tyler the Creator.
Yeah.
Um, So, like, we really love Tyler the Creator and the creative process that he has. Not only him, but ASAP Rocky too. So
Mhm.
we tried to base like what we did off of what they did for the music video Potato Salad. Like the visuals in Potato Salad was absolutely crazy, and the effects they had, and not only that, but just like the edits that they had for the after effects of the music video was really really cool, and also just the fact it was not like something like professionally created or anything of that sort. It was just us just like having fun. So yeah, heavy on that. So we ended up basing our inspiration off of Potato Salad. Not only that, but Muse My Management. What's going on? Special Ed, what's going on? How y'all doing, yo? I hope y'all doing great. So boom, Buddha is in here. Shout out to Buddha too. Um, so we wanted to base that off of just Potato Salad and what they're capable of. Well, not what they're capable of, but just what they did in that video specifically. And also, we just wanted to have fun as well because we're all in the crib. We just kicking it, and it just turned into just us just vibing to the song because we all really like the song. We love like what the song turned into, like when all these other voices came through. So like the full version of the concert is going to be like really, 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 really dope. Oh
Awesome.
God.
I'm excited for you. My favorite music video of yours is the one for Abstract Michelle.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
one is
yeah,
gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I wanted to
for
say
sure.
that because I was watching it and I was like, the views of Chicago, and I also saw like the Columbia campus in it too, but like the color
Hmm.
grading as well. Like it's so vibrant and everybody looks
Absolutely.
gorgeous. Like I was like, you must be so proud of that music video because it's stunning. I loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Which is nuts considering like that's the first music video for like my first like official song.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my second music video in general. Like that was like the second time I was able to like really come out of my shell for a music video, because usually I'm like, it takes a lot for me to just like get comfortable behind a camera or in front of the camera, whichever way it goes. Um, so it really took me a decent while to just like get used to what was going on for the music video. That one was also directed by Aiden. Like he really killed it. Josh Crutcher with Save All Penguins, he was the assistant director. And homie Marcel, he was he was the he was DP.
Mm-hmm.
So boom, like he was really really dope. Just like being able to be around each other. It was very like we did have a plan. We did really have to plan it out for like what we were like where we were trying to create for like Abstract Michelle. Like that was like a borderline a month and a quarter
Wow.
process of like meeting up, coming up with like the visual story, coming up with a storyboard for the video, um, how we can shoot the video, scheduling the video, um, and then there was a full fledged week and some change of just like recording, recruiting like other people to be around for the video as well. Yeah, it was a lot, but it was really 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 dope though for sure. So we ended up recording that. It took like maybe a week and a half to like be done when it comes to like editing. And once it was done, like all of us was just like really, 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 really grateful that we could create this. So we ended up having like this little miniature like watch party situation. We
Yay.
didn't know what we didn't know what we wanted to do when it comes to like if we wanted to get a venue or not, but we just ended up just having a watch party over at um over at 1104
Oh, cool.
one of the little filming rooms. And then we ended up like filling up all the spots too. So it was really really dope. I didn't think that that many people would wanted to come around and just like experience like something that we were able to create. So it was really like fulfilling for all of us. So Astra and Michelle, it turned out to be like, I guess like the launching pad for like all of us for what we were able to do creatively, because that was so we ended up just hitting the ground running for that, and hopefully we get able to make something like special for all of these other for all the other music videos we can create too.
Yeah, I hope so too. It was a very, very good accomplishment.
Yeah,
um,
it was really great for sure.
yeah, I also want to talk about, you have a very nice relationship with yours, Avery, in your collaborations, and I wanted to know like how important is collaboration to you as an artist?
It's really important because not only is it like great to like hear new voices and just like being around different styles, but even though we're definitely different when it comes to just like how we convey our thoughts, I guess we're similar in the sense of just like what we want for ourselves as artists too, and just for how much respect we have for not only like how difficult it is to like operate creatively, but just having a respect for like each other as creatives and as people too. That's what made things like very easy for us to like really navigate things when it comes to music and just like visuals or collaborating on live performances too, because we definitely perform like together before. And I, I feel like just with collaboration as well, it's really like important to collaborate with everybody that's around you, because not only are you able to like understand how diversified your sound could be, but you're able to understand just like how many like pockets you're able to fit in as well. Because
Mm,
if you because there's a lot of artists around in Chicago, and there's a lot of different voices in Chicago too. So you being able to collaborate with these many voices, you nobody can tell you that, hey, you're one dimensional or you're a one trick pony or whatever the case may be, because you're able to show people that you can get down on any type of any type of beat, or you can get down on any type of style, or you can make something happen on any song, whether it's like a melodic sense or just lyrical sense, or just a thing that you can vibe to, a thing that you can dance to, a thing that you can turn up to, or something that you really had to think about, or just being very intentional with the things that you say, or just saying stuff for the sake of having fun. So yeah, it's like it's really important to really get a venture out and telling people that, hey, I'm capable of doing this in whatever setting, and just being able to just get your name. And it also helps to like broaden, expand your audience, be in the grand scheme of things too. So if you have, you be able to get your next fan from, or not even next fan, that sounds weird, the next supporter from any of the people that you're able to collaborate with. That's like, I feel like that's like the biggest like beauty, or the biggest byproduct of just collaboration too.
Hmm. Do you have any advice for like young artists who are wanting to get into the music industry or afraid to like put themselves out there?
uh because I'm kind of like the same way, still
Mm-hmm.
like trying to find my voice, not only trying to find my voice, but trying to get out of my own way. So I guess the best advice I could give people, I know it's a cliche, but like, just don't quit on it, because quitting is for losers. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but it is though. Like, it really is. But just for real, just don't quit on like the things that you're trying to achieve, especially within the creative scene, because like it only, not to say that it could only take one thing to get your stuff off, but just like all the stories that you're able to convey and what your music is, or not even what your music is, but what medium that you're partaking in. It's like so fulfilling. And don't do this thing just for the sake of like, don't do this just for the sake of clicks, or like money, or for the sake of just the notoriety, or whatever the case is. Do it for the sake of knowing that you love this. Because if you're able to have like the love aspect of this, that's what makes everything else like fall into place. Because sometimes this is like a very, very long game, and you gotta have some sort of semblance of love of this in order to just like keep on trooping with what you're trying to create and what you're trying to put out for the people to see. So instilling that love and passion and drive into yourself before you venture off into this is like the main important thing for sure.
Yeah. I agree with you a lot. I'm like, success to me will never fill a gap that's made for not being passionate. I feel like passion allows you to be like the most successful version of yourself. So I agree with you
True.
completely.
And also, like, my bad for cutting you off,
No,
but
you're
just like,
good.
um just like living too, just like make sure you don't have to be like who you are creatively all the time.
Hmm.
Like, just being able to live, that helps like refresh your mind, and being able to like, and that in turn gives you more stories to tell too. So don't think that you gotta like be, hey, I gotta be MC such and such and such 24/7, 365 until I die. Like, that doesn't, like, that's not cool. That's not good for anybody. And not
Hmm.
only that, it's just like, all right, that's you creatively, but what are you personally? Because people want to understand like who you are personally, beyond like, hey, you can rap pretty good, or you can sing pretty well, or because if you don't like have some type of substance in what you're trying to say or what you're trying to convey, then what are we really doing this for?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's about, staying genuine to yourself and others and staying consistent. So I agree. Um,
Indeed.
I wanna ask you, how has your community, your friends, your family, supported you throughout this journey of making music?
Oh man, like, I feel like my friends are the main reason why I was able to do this in the first place. Cause look, like, how I started to get back into like writing raps because I had took a break for like a year and some change from writing raps, or not even writing raps, but just writing in general. Um, I was I ended up meeting like two people in this other class at Columbia. It was like my freshman year, it's my second semester, and we had to figure out like making this like we had to make this mixtape for the end of the semester and then perform that mixtape at Manafresh. It was
Oh
it
wow.
was like it was a highly stressful time.
Yeah.
And then not only that, it was just like this is my first time performing in front of anybody, period. Okay, so that's great. I haven't wrote in however many years, so that's great. I'm sandbagging on like what I'm supposed to write, so that's phenomenal. and and on top of that, I don't know if the stuff I'm gonna write is even gonna be that good. So yay, this is going to suck. Boom. So like my my homie, I didn't know he was gonna be my homie at the time, but my homie Nathan, he goes by the Prophet. He's probably one of the coldest producers in Chicago right now. I'm stamping that. Not even probably, he is. Like what? Come on now. So Prophet, he pulls me to the side like 2 weeks before like the mixtape is due, and he's like, "Bruh, what the fuck? What are you doing? You haven't written anything, you haven't submitted anything. It's either you submit something, you can submit some type of bar, or you can get an F in the class and we just gonna leave you behind, bro. What are you doing? Lock in or get ran over, bro." That's essentially what he said. He said it a little bit more nice, but like that's essentially what he said. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I ended up sending him a couple verses. That turned into what it turned into. He thought like these verses was like the craziest thing he heard. He didn't know what he was expecting from me anyway, but this it definitely wasn't what he was expect. It definitely wasn't what he was expecting. So he ended up thinking that like, hey, I can expand upon this. I thought I was gonna write these two verses and then just get on with my life, wherever that would be if I hadn't stopped or if I had stopped writing at that point. Um, so by the time the mixtape was over and we got done with like the performance, couple weeks afterwards, like during the summer, he like calls me on his. He ended up DMing me, and then he puts me in his Discord, and he says, you want to make a project with me." So I'm like, bro, what? So I'm like, yo, I didn't like think I was gonna be able to like write full-fledged songs. I only wrote like two verses, and each verse was for a separate song. So now you want to make like a full-fledged like tape? Like that's crazy. Um, so yeah, bruh, that, like my friends was like the main reason like I got invested into this thing in the first place. Because if it wasn't for them, like thinking that I was capable of doing this, and not only that, I've had like some glimpses of just like being able to like do this from even before that. Because my friends, they thought I could be able to write rhymes, but I tend to like put myself in a box on what I was capable of doing. But my friends believe that I was able to create and expand upon like what I had going on in my mind. So they're the ones that really like got me involved in this for real. So like from my guys, Devo, Elijah the Great, um, the homie Reverb, Prophet, yours, every single one of those people, and many more of the people that I didn't name, and the guys that I made friends with along the way. Like those are the people that really like nurtured what I was capable of doing and inspiring me to just like keep on doing this and not like trying to quit on myself when it comes to creating too.
Yeah. I think friends are so important in that way too. They can kind of see you from a different angle that kind of helps you get out of your head a little bit too.
Right.
Um, I want to ask you about, your dream artist to collaborate with. Who's somebody that you want to work with?
Oof. Uh man. Dream artist to collaborate with. Um Definitely want to collaborate collaborate with Tyler,
Yeah.
um, cause like how he inspired me to just be myself,
Mhm.
and not only that, but the fact that he, he like kind of inspired the raps as well. Like that's like the person that I kind of crafted my raps after. Um, so him, Tyler the Creator, and I need to get my hands on like a produced Tyler the Creator beat by any and all means, you know. Um, so definitely him. West Side Boogie. Um, West Side Boogie. He's another rapper from Los Angeles. He definitely provides like that introspective piece of that artists like really need, but he can also chop some stuff up and make something that people can just like vibe to too. Um, Plus, like I'm kind of like learning from him and like from the creative side of things, because even though like I can write like pretty decent verses and whatnot, I'm I'm learning from him when it comes to writing hooks, because that's something that I always wanted to improve on, was just like being able to write a semi decent hook. So guys like him, Westside Boogie, Tyler the Creator, if I could bring him back, old Kanye, an old Kanye produced beat, like the Soul Chops in the Kanye produced beat was beautiful, bro. Like it was really beautiful. So I wanted to like, if I could get my hands on like something that he got in the vault that nobody else had touched, I definitely do that. Trust. When it comes to like locally, or people that's from Chicago specifically, like not only Kanye but Saba as well, because of what he's able to do, not only on a lyrical sense, but just being able to tell these stories that not many people were able to tell, and having stories that kids from Chicago can relate to, whether it's you from out west or over east or out south or up north, whatever the case. Like being able to have these stories that many of these kids are able to relate to and being able to see themselves in that, I want to be able to collaborate in that regard. Um, Not only Saba but motherfucking Mello, and Fresh Waters, like all like the whole Pivot Gang. Like Pivot Gang, they really like helped shape what my musical style was in when I was in high school. Cause like all I could really listen to was Everybody Eats by motherfucking Mello, um, Comfort Zone by Saba, and just the whole Pivot Gang collective with what they did with Y'all Can't Sit Here. That like that whole like collective and what they're capable of, and not only that, just being able to see what they are on a deeper level too, um because they were able to like essentially mentored me through the John Walt Foundation, and seeing them up close, it was as if like I was seeing some of my idols to a degree, because how they're able to navigate the creative scene, but also how they're more than willing to take care of theirs when it comes to just Chicago in general and trying to revitalize these communities. So heavy on them. Fem Dot too, with 94, with what he did with 94 Carry Music, that shaped my high school career as well.
Mhm.
Um, that's a decent amount of people. Probably go one more.
Mhm.
Uh, Probably The Alchemist when it comes to producing, because that's like who I who I definitely shape my sound after when it comes to what I want to create. When it comes to what I want to create upon. So definitely Alchemist as well. So I feel like those are pretty decent, like dream collaborations for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I also want to ask, I believe it was your birthday recently. Am I right about
You
that?
are right about that. I
Happy
just
birthday!
appreciate it, yo. I just turned 22 yesterday.
Oh yeah, that was yesterday. Perfect.
Hmm.
Well, happy belated birthday. That's awesome. I kind of
Thank
wanted
you
to
so
talk about,
much.
now that you're 22, like how have you seen yourself grow as an artist since you started writing your freshman year of high school?
I definitely can see like the improvement. there's other times where I'm like kind of hard on myself to the degree that I'm like, hey, because even though I'm definitely blessed to be able to be around for another year, it's kind of bittersweet because so a lot of times where I'm around, or a lot of times during my birthday, I tend to like think about where I'm at and should I be further on where I'm at depending on like my
Mm,
age. So it's kind of a slippery slope, even though I'm definitely celebratory about being able to make it around for another year. Because there's definitely times where like I feel like everybody had times where that time could be somewhat the case. Um, so even though like I'm really grateful to like see that, and I can definitely see I kind of have that same mentality when it comes to creating. Like, even though like I can definitely see myself growing as an artist, there'll be other times where it's like, all right, have I hit a wall or have I like kind of plateaued when it comes to just like my creative ability or my
mm,
intuitiveness? So it's a lot of reflection involved when it comes to just like just like my process and becoming an artist and still and still trying to stay the course as well. So just being able to reevaluate like what I'm able to do, what I have been doing right, what I've been doing that's okay, but we can like still figure out the kinks and some things, um, and still like hammering out the chinks in our armor. So
mhm.
there's a lot of like there's a lot of things that I can just like not only reevaluate, but just like think about when it comes to just how far I've came, because I'm definitely came far from where I was from my freshman year in high school, because I definitely was writing like cat, sat, rat, hat, bat type raps. um, but like just that, but I definitely think that there's some growth involved, but I still feel like we still got a lot of growth to do.
Yeah. I completely understand that, I feel like both of us as artists, we understand like it's a very, very vulnerable, you know, way of working. It's a very vulnerable profession. I think,
Mhm.
the hardest thing is kind of falling into the trap of like comparing yourself to other people. And like I'm still going through this process too of learning like one year in my directing world I might like, grow an inch, then the next year it might be a mile, and having to just accept myself in each stage that I you know, may or may not be.
Absolutely.
I understand that. What about like the next 4 years of your career? What kind of goals do you have for yourself for the next kind of future years?
Mm. Um, what I want to set for myself in the next couple of years is that I definitely want to like, oof, man, that's a hard question.
Yeah.
Especially just like how to like measure out the timeline too. Um, I definitely want to see myself getting into like more like festivals or just like bigger stages. Um, but also in order to do that, I need to start performing a little bit more than what I used to do, or than what I usually do. Um, so definitely getting out, being able to perform a little bit more. Not only that, but just like getting into like getting my name out there with a couple of more like getting a couple more of these like venues in Chicago, like subterranean, being able to get upstairs rather than downstairs. Um, what are some other like where are some other music venues out here? Promontory, being able to like sell out the Promontory because that hasn't happened in a while. Um, getting outside for other music festivals as well, like Summer Smash. I definitely want to get around for Summer Smash and getting on the smaller stage and making my way up to the bigger stage of Summer Smash too, or Lollapalooza too,
Yeah.
and like any. like anything when it comes to just like these bigger stages. Like I definitely want to dream big when it comes to like getting involved with these bigger stages and just letting people know that like, hey, I'm here. So there's that. I definitely want to be able to have a couple shows that's outside of Chicago. Not only like, cause I even though I love Chicago, like I feel like sometimes like we could really do more as an audience. So being able to venture outside of Chicago and taking what I learned from being in the Bay Area and being in Chicago as well, but taking everything that I learned and inputting that into like other spaces outside the region, from going to a Detroit and showing people what I'm capable of there, or going to Milwaukee and letting people know that this is what we do, or going towards Texas and showing people that I can handle my stand my ground over in Texas as well when it comes to the Texas creators,
Mm-hmm.
or even like venturing out to a show in LA so people can understand like, hey, this is what we do in Chicago. This is how we can take some stuff over too. So just those are like the main things, just like being able to venture out just outside of just having a Chicago audience, and also just being able to venture out towards bigger, or not even bigger, but just like broader audiences when it comes to just like the venues in Chicago too.
Yeah. I'm excited for you. Also, would you go to New Jersey? I don't know.
I would go to New Jersey, yes.
Awesome, that's a
I,
win for me. That's a win for me then.
I definitely would go to New Jersey.
uh, one of my last questions for you is, what do you want to be known as an artist?
Uh, Damn. Okay.
I know I'm hitting you with the big ones before
I,
I
I,
leave
I
you.
know. I know. Man, what I want to be known as an artist is just want to be known as a person that just tried their best. Well, overall, um, like whether or not just like how far this thing could take me, I just want to know in my heart of hearts that I put my best foot forward and what I'm capable of doing. Um, so that's like the main thing, just being able to know that I put my best foot forward and I dug my heels deep in the sand so I can keep my feet planted on the ground, and I can still put in work whenever I even if I put my pen down for a year, 3 years, 5 years, whatever the case, just putting my best foot forward to in whatever I end up doing, whether that's hosting events or being a part of events, or just from when it comes to like creating my own events, or all the way down to just like writing a 16. So just knowing that I put my best foot forward in these things, and still like I'm still figuring these things out. And if I ultimately end up failing, I still know that I tried my best.
Yeah. Well, my last question for you tonight is, what does ambitious mean to you?
Um, hmm, what does ambitious mean to me? I guess ambitious means that you're able to take a leap of faith, but also being able to be calculated within your leap of faith as well. So I guess like being ambitious for me is venturing venturing out to different styles, and still being able to understand these different styles, but somehow being able to weave it until the point that it's people still know that it's me and me only, that this could only come from me. Um, so yeah, just being ambitious is just being able to take calculated risks in what you're doing, and being able to reap those rewards through these risks. So it's not. I know for a fact that it's not living life on the easy mode where it's just like being able to coast. Sometimes you gotta go on an incline and be able to like climb those steps and just take it and just taking and leap of faith and hoping that something, not even hoping and praying that something that can catch you, but knowing that, and knowing that something's gonna catch you because you put that thing there, you programmed it to be there. So yeah, I guess that's what ambitious means to me for sure.
Perfect. Thank you, Youngin. I want you to take this time to promote any projects that are coming out in the future or any current projects that you have.
Indeed.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, bet. So boom, Restitution that came out October 25th. That was hard. I definitely want whoever it is that's in here to make sure you go get that. You know. So and Restitution came out October 25th. Out now wherever you need to stream music at. Abstract Michelle, my first ever song that came out. That one's a really good song as well. That was produced by Prophet. Restitution was produced by Kyle Kubius. Minor Player, produced by Yours Avery, and features Yours Avery too. That he really cooked on the beat and he really cooked on the verse. So that one was really dope. I Gave You Power was also produced by Kyle Kubius. That song, Minor Player, and Restitution are all featured on the mixtape Preliminaries, which is coming out November 38th, 2037. You know, so boom. So that's dope. But for real though, Preliminaries is coming out very, 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 very soon. So like so we're in the final stretch for that. So whoever it is that wants to get in tune with that, or just wants to see how this thing works, I really appreciate it. The Cadre, that's a music video. It doesn't have the song isn't out on all platforms yet. We saving that for the mixtape. But the Cadre, that music video is out on a Dairy Fools YouTube. That's a Dairy Fool, all one word. You know. So the Cadre features Yours Avery, my boy Aiden. He makes some cameos in there too. My boy Nails, he makes some cameos in there as well. That's pretty dope. That's out on a Dairy Fools YouTube. Once again, the full version will be featured on the mixtape Preliminaries, which is coming out very, very soon. Like I said. And hopefully more new music on the way. Boom.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I
Okay.
want to say thank you so much for chatting with me today. It's been
Yeah.
an absolute pleasure. I'm excited for you and your future and your mixtape that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
And
Appreciate
again,
you for having me.
happy.
Once again, sorry for being. I'm really, really
Oh,
sorry for being so late.
don't worry about it at all. Don't worry about it at all. It gave me a few moments to like breathe. I immediately came from class to do this, so I'm glad. Again, thank you again so much. Happy 22nd birthday. Enjoy
Appreciate it.
22. And I hope to see you in the halls of Columbia. It's so cool that we both
I
go there.
wish I was Jay Z. Like, I really wish I was Jay Z. That life would be very, very easier.
If you were JC. You'd be married to Beyonce. That would be nice. But
But word, appreciate you for having me, yo. Like, I really rock with the interview. This was really, really dope for sure.
yes, thank you. I hope to see you in the halls. Have a
Indeed.
good have a good night, and I'll see you
Word,
later.
likewise. Indeed.
Bye.